In my other computer here. Get underway. I'll just make some adjustments to this. First of all, record. Okay, that'll work. Okay, I think all the technology is working now. We'll get underway. So, so Mackenzie, I'll give you the video option and you can just do unmute with the baby if you want. Just say yes to the window that popped up there. So it's up to you though. Okay, so let's share the screen. Okay. All right, everybody. So welcome to becoming more clear, confident, and empowered to deliver your gift of service to the world. I'm Nicolas, David, Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension. This is ready for the guys who are watching on YouTube later. I'll just give the sort of more formal intro, then we can have a chat, see what you guys need. So, do you feel you're here to do something very special for the world, but doubt yourself because you're not quite sure what it is or how to go about doing it? And this webinar is about healing the issues which are in the way of low self-esteem, doubt and feelings of not being good enough. Okay, so that you can accelerate your process of becoming clear, confident, and empowered to deliver your gift of service to the world. Okay. Yeah, for Huskies is pretty loud, Amy, but you're welcome to participate on the video. Okay, so I want to find out why you guys are here first, and then it sort of guides me in terms of what we're actually going to do. So, okay, you guys on video, the brave ones, if you want to just wave at me and just let me know why you've come, what's your intention for this, then that sort of shapes the way I run the webinar. It's not sort of a complete formalized script. Okay, so what you put into this, guys, which is what you're going to get out of it. It's not just me talking about it, so you're going to have a direct experience of divine healing. And Halika, and then we'll have Eliza.
Hey guys, so I decided to join this. I actually had a call with Nicolas yesterday, but I had seen this divine healing a few days ago on Facebook that he had posted. And I automatically was drawn to it because I found out through, my soul contract reading with Nicolas, I have a lot of those deep feelings within subconsciously that I have like this feeling of unworthiness. Although I do know that like I always as a child had this burning question of like, I know I'm meant to bring some sort of service to the world, but I never felt confident into stepping into that. Like I know I'm meant to, and he revealed that to me yesterday of like writing, it's part of like a service that I'm meant to bring to the world. And I knew that, but like I've been always very hesitant, like into stepping into that field of like writing and just bringing, and it's like I never knew, like I don't know what that is. Like I know I'm meant to bring a sort of service to the world and I'm meant to like follow the breadcrumbs, but I don't know what that is. So I know that through the divine healing, it can help me, just because I did another divine healing that it was just like a recording that I had watched, and it really released, I was telling Nicolas, my Kundalini. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard about Kundalini awakening, but it happened. So I know how powerful these divine healing recordings and the classes that he's doing are. So I'm excited.
Okay, thank you, Angelica. Yeah. Okay. Who's next? Oh yeah, Eliza. Will you say where you are? Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm in Seattle, Washington. And for me, I'm very clear on what I want to do and what my purpose is, but I have a lot of self-doubt and fear and safety survival programs that hold me back of, staying small, staying protected and, quote unquote. So that's really what I'm looking to heal and let go of more. I experienced a couple of these webinars that you've done, and they've always been extremely healing. So I'm here to receive more of that. And, I'm grateful for the support that you offer to help, dissolve and let go of the unworthiness and fear blocks from my childhood and from the world and who knows what. But so thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thanks, Elisa. Yeah, I'll just comment on what you said and what Angelica said. It's all the stuff you guys carry, all the horrible emotional stuff, where you might feel something's gone wrong, I should be on with my mission, is normal. It's the way it's meant to be, but it's not meant to stay. It's part of your training to come online to deliver your gift of service. And the question is, are you prepared to engage with it and turn into it and transform it? Because the lesson of overcoming the self-doubt, fears, the unknown, not knowing what the mission really is, and Angelica, for example, is part of your training to bring your mission online. Because in overcoming it, that visceral emotional journey the soul goes through, and you at a personality level go through, because you're brand new each lifetime, is your training. It's not like you missed the boat, I should have been underway 2 years ago. This is your training. Everything you face, especially the dark stuff, is your training for the mission. So the key is to engage with it, with everything you've got, because then the mission is going to manifest much faster. If you decide to run away from it, which is what your ego will naturally do, the mission is not going to happen. You'll stay stuck. You'll stay where you are. Then it comes down to, well, how much more pain do you really want? Who wants more pain? Put your hand up if you want more pain. Who's had enough of pain? Put your hand up. Well, there you go. There's your answer. So this webinar is about, though, is for those who want to explore this paradigm where the ego traps us in our pain, and we think, oh my God, my life's a train wreck. I got off on the wrong planet, and all that sort of stuff. I used to think that a lot. Still do on a bad day, and I'm still work in progress. But it's about engaging with all that, because out of that will come your gifts of service, will come your way to manifest your mission. So you need to earn it emotionally by working through all of it, because coming out the other side, life gradually will get better, and then your mission will start to happen, and you'll be in a different reality to the majority of human beings. As you see, there's a lot of suffering in the world. Okay, so because people don't have the tools to awaken, and that's the purpose of this work, is to bring the tools so you can awaken and get on with that mission, get on with that deepest hidden urge. Like I was looking for my mission when I was a teenager. I knew there was something special I was here to do, and I was determined to find it, because no one could tell me what was going on. University, parents, school, work. No one actually, I realized no one knew what they were doing, and no one was telling the truth, let alone telling me what I should be doing. So I had to go and find it. So here I am. I've been searching for that for 40 odd years, that truth. So this is why you're here. You're searching for the truth. You're searching for that fulfillment. We're all searching for that deep soul fulfillment out of strange dysfunctional reality we live in. And so this is why these tools have come down from the higher dimensions to help us. It's a question of whether you want to pick them up, but we're going to get a good taste for this today. Okay, Maria.
You really nailed it, Nicolas, now. So I'm a bit of progress since on my mission.
Have you moved? Have you moved?
Moved. Sorry?
Have you moved?
I finally moved.
You look like you've moved. Cool.
So beautiful. I'm still in Scotland. I haven't moved far. I'm in Haddington, where I used to live before with my 12 years ago with my cat Tiger. And I moved through fantastic synchronicities, and thanks to a ginger cat, Tiger, who's just now sleeping on my bed. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I just don't want to, I tend to over prepare. I want to get on now with doing some readings and got more space now and it's warmer. Thank you.
Okay. Glad to hear you've moved at last. You look happier. So, all right. Heather has said here in the chat, she's here because she's opened up several gifts but not sure what to do with it. Or I don't want to heal myself and others, but I don't know what it looks like, and I'm terrified. I also don't think I can do it. Well, the fact that you're looking at it means there's a tool. There'll be tools there. So when you actually are faced with a situation in life that seems initially insurmountable, if you just wait, the tool to overcome it, the solution will come, because life never asks you a question without an answer. There'll be a way to work it through, because there'll be no point, would there? You think about it, no point in having a challenge unless there's a way to get through it. Just sometimes it takes a while for the answer to come. Okay, it's all designed. You as sparks of the divine, as sparks of the creator, are creating this illusory experience. So you're asking questions, being asked questions by the universe, giving answers and receiving answers. You just got to be open to it. There's a way through everything. If you just be still and wait, allow it to come to you. So, okay. Who else wants to go? Lynn, welcome. Where are you?
Hi, I'm from Hanoi, so it's like midnight here right now.
So
anyway,
where are you? You're in
from Hanoi, Vietnam.
Hanoi.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm still waiting for my soul contract reading appointment, which is happening in September. But I read the book and I was kind of checking out what is my soul purpose per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, still I'm just because I've been practicing A Course in Miracles, so it's kind of like tying in where I also saw certain patterns in my life, and it sort of matches what I calculated from, using the book in terms of emotional resilience and self-worthlessness kind of pattern. So I figure that's why I'm here also, because I'm still trying to tie different systems to see what is my absolute truth to follow through with it. Yeah, from different teachings. So I figure that's what drew me here.
Okay. So do they sell my book in Vietnam? You should get it in Vietnam just out of interest.
Oh, I just got a Kindle version. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Kathleen, do you want to share?
I've tried to read your book a couple of times and I kind of get lost in it each time, and then I start reading something else and forget. So I am here. I'm actually sitting in an office where I just signed a lease. I just got done going to massage therapy school. I went to myofascial release training, and apparently I'm going to do that and heal people. And I have a lot of imposter syndrome in the way.
What did you say? Imposter syndrome?
Yeah, yeah.
Who do you feel you're being an imposter? So who do you feel, what role do you feel you're playing that's not true for you?
I was brought up to believe that everybody was better than I was. And when I stepped outside of my comfort zone, I was very quickly put back in my place. And I'm realizing that it was backwards my entire life and that the game was rigged. And it's taking a lot to actually digest that.
Yeah. Yeah, were you at a high level designed it, or a higher self designed it to be a certain way to see if you could work out the puzzle?
Mm-hmm. I'm very good at connecting the dots. I'm very, very good at connecting the dots.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone else want to share from the attendee list on the, either you can switch your mics on or you can just put it in the chat before we get underway.
Hello?
Okay, who's that? Just say who you are.
This is Janelle, and I can't find a way to be on video.
If I just press the little window should come up. Yeah, click on that one. I mean, your video should switch on. Switch your video on. Should turn up in a minute. Sync. So there you go.
Okay,
There you go. That worked. Welcome.
although very clear. Hi, I live in Washington, DC, and I don't know why I'm here, but actually I do know. This is my second call, and I started reading your book, and I've had a taster, and I've signed up for the October class. I just knew immediately that I needed to do that. Anything that has to do with the soul interests me, and I do soul portraits for people, and I know that this is going to really contribute to my work, and I'm really interested in finding out why or what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what my mission and my purpose is, but I need to know how to do it. I need to be focused, and I hope I have another 30 years to really do what I'm supposed to do here. And when I had a little mini reading with you in the last call, you said that I can only accomplish 20% of what I'm supposed to do by myself. And I really felt that, and I really sat with that. And then that next week I had 4 people reach out to me, one from India, one from St. Louis, Missouri, another person locally that's here, and someone from Austin, Texas, who want to do things with me. There are people that I've known, and then they just stepped up and said, I really want to help you and your work and work with you. So that was very confirming for me.
Yeah, cool.
And I keep getting messages or interactions with people who I wish, oh my gosh, I wish I could do a reading for them, because they just need to know this little bit. That's a big thing. Like, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. All those, like, oh, I can't wait for October.
Well, you're going to be able to.
I'm really glad that I just missed the May class, and my usual mode of operation is to jump into things just as they're starting or be a little late. And I would have done that. But I found out about the training the week after. I was like, oh, October. But now I'm so glad that I have this time to like really read and be on these calls and get a really good foundation for it before I participate in the training. So that's another like, oh, that's different. That's interesting.
Must be coming online, Janelle. You must really mean business now. So you're getting organized.
Yep.
Yeah, Janelle's talking about the soul contract reading training level 1 in October. So to learn how to deliver readings rather than just reading the book to help others. Yeah. Okay. All right. We've got another one's just joined us, I think. Noreen, she turned up. Still not quite there. We'll get underway. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. Yeah. Noreen, do you want to talk? You've got the microphone on. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi.
Can
Where
you hear me?
from? Yeah, I can hear you. Where are you from? If you say yes to being a panelist, we can see you. Only if you want to.
I know. Guys, do you mind if I keep my camera off? I'm really not feeling so well. I've got such bad seasonal allergies that just kicked in over the last few days.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I'm originally from South Africa, but I live in Toronto in Canada now. Hello, everybody. Yeah.
And what brought you here? What drew you here today?
I think honestly, I've just been through a lot in the last year, and sort of just kind of questioning, if I am in the right place.
Yeah.
And trying to also
honor my journey and kind of just be present in it, you know, through the good, through the bad, just trying to figure out how to show up for myself and be more present in these experiences that I've had. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Noreen. All right. Pat said she's got a migraine headache the past 97 days. Sorry about that, Pat. That's really tough. And she's saying there's an emotional component associated with it due to childhood trauma, and I'm meant to heal it so I can heal others, but struggling with a chronic pain component of it. So we need some specific trauma therapy, I think, Pat, on that one. Something's coming out. So, okay, let's get on with it now. I'm going to share the screen here. Just so let's go. So, what is divine healing? It all started because Amara Ariel Hilaire, who used to run the Centre for Conscious Ascension with me, she established it with me. We used to be married as well for about a decade. When we first got together, we were trying to find a way to heal all our emotional separation because we had some pretty heavy stuff. For those of you who know the soul contract, we had a lot of nines and karma, so real dark, destructive stuff from past lives in our ego, and we had to find a way to clean it out so we could actually function and get on with his mission of service here. And we spent a lot of time, especially her, looking for tools in the world that would be powerful enough to help us. And in the end, she concluded she had to develop her own tool along with a couple of colleagues, Mary and Rashan. So this is how divine healing was born in 2006. It was channeled from source, from many different groups of beings in the high dimensions to help us ascend in consciousness, to peel the ego onion, to do this actually, to peel our ego onion, to get back to the flame of consciousness, get back to the essence of pure love that we are. So we have pretty tough egos, especially me, and she always used to use me a lot as a demo client because I had one of the toughest egos to work on because of the way my head had built itself. So basically, divine healing is a multi-dimensional healing system based on the principle of asking, you shall receive. You basically align to the higher self because it built your ego onion, so it knows how to unlayer it, how to take it apart in a graceful way. So it knows where everything is, whereas the ego tries to hide everything from you. It knows how to peel this ego onion to get back to the pure love that you actually are. And what happens is that it's a very simple set of tools which are very profoundly powerful, very accurate, which you can use on yourself and others. And we use a manual channeled from the high dimensions. And it contains lots of the different programs that are used to create us, our ego and all our belief systems, the way we are. And we use these, we call them charts, these 26 charts in the manual, which are used to dismantle the ego. And it can feel like you're going to get a taste of this in a little while. Like often you can clear a program and you can't even remember what was there because it's literally lasered it out of your system. It's just like it never existed before, which is a good sign because you don't really want to remember some of the stuff. It shows you how powerful this sort of thing is. And as you clear the ego onion, it enables you to reconnect to spirit at all levels. And because you can do it on yourself, it's very empowering. So when you need to clear stuff, you can, you guys were talking about your issues at the beginning. You can clear the issue that's running in the moment. Whatever's on the top layer of the ego onion, you can clear it. And it raises your consciousness, okay, enormously. And that means you're a little bit closer to manifesting your gift of service. Because if you clear enough of this ego onion, so the drag weight of the ego is less than the power of the soul, the love of the soul in you, then you start moving forward much more, and the stuff gets left behind. You reach what we call a point of soul integration, where the soul energy is more powerful than the drag weight of the ego, and then the mission really starts to happen, much more so, even though it seems it's taking a long time. So what happens when you start to lose that drag weight of the ego? Well, this is what happens. Life starts to happen as you transform all the underlying programming that's holding you back, and all those dreams actually start to come true. And the vision you have, which you may feel, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, can start to actually happen because you're getting out of your own way, because the ego is the thing in the way of us manifesting our mission. The deepest secret the soul holds in us that we search for from a very young age. So you can really heal deeply and completely. I've been working on myself with this since 2006, and my life has radically changed. It really made a massive difference. I was struggling up to that point, really struggling. I've been struggling for about, let's see, 26, 27 years from the time I started to wake up. Then divine healing came along, and that made a massive difference. And you can connect to your true essence, the love and gifts of the soul, and start to deliver them to the world. Life becomes more enjoyable and fun. It's good for your self-esteem and self-worth, because all this stuff, lovely stuff that comes from childhood, you start to clear it layer by layer, and you see what a grip the program had on you. And it seemed like it was real when actually it's not. And you become the master of your life. You become in charge. So the soul is in charge, and the ego is no longer playing its games with you, keeping you away from God, away from your gifts. And so then you can deliver your gift of service to the world. So that's what it's for. Because everything that can be learned down here in this reality can be learned, has been learned. What happened was that we started off up here in Source in the 12th dimension. We're in the 3rd dimension down here. And Source, in an out-breath, expanded its consciousness. It densified itself from pure consciousness, pure light, all the way down to being in the physical body. The spark of the divine, your soul, is part of Source, part of God. But we just forgot. And so we were born here. We sort of woke up and wondered, well, something's not right about this place. Where's home? Because home's over here, and home's certainly not here in this reality. I always used to think that as a kid. Something's gone badly wrong with this place. People are doing some pretty strange stuff. And so the purpose of divine healing, because everything that can be learned by each of the sparks of the divine and all the 8 billion humans here, everything that can be learned has been learned. So it's time to go home. It's time to go back in consciousness to Source. All right, but you've got to clear the ego onion first. The world's going through a global clearing of its ego onion, as you've seen in the past couple of years, dumping all its darkness and bringing it all out so that we can actually go back through the dimensions like this. And divine healing punches a hole through all our programming, stopping us moving in consciousness through these dimensions and actually eventually ascending through the dimensions, rolling these dimensions up. So the purpose is ascension, really, to get back to the oneness that we truly are, and to leave behind the sense of being separate from who we truly are here. So that's the purpose of divine healing. And so how does that mechanism actually work? So what happens here is that in this 3rd dimensional reality, we need to learn to grow lotuses out of the mud of life. Lotus mud. Okay. And we live in a good and evil polarity consciousness reality. It's very polarized because it's so far removed from God. But we look at this as a part of oneness. This is one system. Whereas we've got some emotional separation programs, the mud, and our job is to dive into the mud and transmute it, bring consciousness to it, and feed the beautiful things, our gifts that are going to grow out of it. Because all is one ultimately. Whereas a lot of the time, people look at dark stuff and don't want to, well, they want to avoid it. But in avoiding it, it gives it more power. So we can't actually transmute it because we haven't brought consciousness to it, which is the key to awakening, bringing consciousness to whatever is in you. So what happens is that when you come to Earth, your ego has 3 primary separation programs in some unique combination. And the first one here is that when we're born, we can feel abandonment by God because we're connected in the womb and suddenly we're popped out into the cold, brightly lit delivery room if you're in a hospital. Hopefully it's a better experience than that. And then you feel unworthy to be loved by God because you got separated from God. You don't trust God in a spiritual sense. So all of our egos are built around these 3 core programs in some unique combination. And our job is to transmute all these. Then we can reconnect back to oneness here. So if you don't do anything else in life other than clear these, then you've been on the emotional, visceral journey, as I was talking about earlier, to connect back to God. So what do most people do here? Okay, here's what most people do. When they feel what we call a main low frequency program in the ego has multiple strategies, and the usual one is to avoid. It's to not feel what's going on. And we avoid through busyness, eating, drinking, watching too much Netflix. I do that. All right, but we don't want to feel the program. Or as we awaken, we realize, oh, we need to become aware of what's going on. So we can judge the programs and feel bad about them, but that actually just makes the program stronger. Makes it more difficult to actually release it. But there's a third way, or a middle way, which is to turn towards the program and resonate with it and own it and bring feeling consciousness to it in the body and feel where it came from. Because when you bring consciousness to it, then you're doing what the soul desires. It wishes you to feel the negative ego programming just for a brief moment and then transmute it. So you peel a layer of the onion so you become a little more conscious. Okay, so how do we do this? The requirement for healing, the requirement for heading home to source and manifesting your gift is a willingness, desire, and courage to feel an issue, to bring feeling consciousness to the issue. So all this stuff here is bring feeling consciousness to it. That's the key principle if you want to live a happier, more fulfilled life in ascending consciousness. And so it's about bringing your feeling consciousness into the issue. It could be feeling the unworthiness or low self-esteem or not being good enough. And the more you feel it, the more you can heal it. The ego is not very keen on that idea because its job is to keep you separate from God and keep you stuck in a place of suffering. So what it does is it numbs out the feelings by putting this layer of emotional ice around it to hold the feelings of low self-esteem, doubt, not being good enough in place. So our job as conscious light workers is to basically break through that numbness, the defense systems of the ego with grace and ease, which is what we do in the divine healing work, in the training we do. It's more powerful when you're in a group because you have a lot of support. And we bring feeling consciousness to, we break through the ego defenses gracefully. We bring our feeling consciousness in and then we expand it. And then we ask the higher self through a process of what we call command codes. You are a spark of the divine. So remember in the Bible, in the beginning, there was the word, the sound of God. You're commanding the higher self, you're commanding the universe. Now you say, well, I've brought a lot of consciousness to this program. Now please clear it. And because provided you felt enough of it, the soul goes, yeah, you've learned what you've learned. I've learned through you, my personality expression, what I need to know. Now we can just let it go. Time to move on to the next layer of the program. So basically, divine healing is about bringing feeling consciousness to the issue that's running in the moment, identifying it, and then as you feel as much as possible, then commanding the higher self to release it. And then it's gone. And then the next layer will come up, and the next layer. And you gradually feel better and better about life. So all those things been emotionally torturing you get gradually less and less. It takes time. Don't believe anyone who says that it's going to be, there's a nice quick fix solution. If you pay me X $1,000, it'll happen. It never will, because it takes time to dismantle an ego. It requires time and dedication and energy to actually do this. That's the actual nature of ascending in consciousness. So that journey is what the soul wants to take. You've embodied so it can have this really strong emotional experience, because it won't get that in the higher dimensions, in the astral plane or higher. That's why there's a big queue to come into these bodies. Although now you're in here probably wondering, why did I do this for? That was not such a good idea. But you were first in the queue. You actually got into a body, because the souls value learning and growth above anything else. So before we have a direct experience of this, are there any questions about what I've said? I sort of give you a bit of structure before we actually go and do some divine healing for the rest of the webinar. Have got any questions about that? Nalika, you going to ask me a question? No?
Well, you said you do the divine healing trainings, right?
Yeah.
Where we find, is it in your website, like to sign up for that?
Yeah, I'll show you a link at the end. It's on the website. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's the divinehealingtraining.com, but I'll talk about how that works. We're actually going to do some charts on the training now, on the manual, so you have a direct experience of it. Yeah. Yeah, the training is 4 days of a 4-day healing intensive where you receive, give and receive healing. You learn how to do it, give and receive it, each of the 26 charts, and you get a massive healing in the process, but you leave being able to work on yourself and work on others. So it does multiple things. Yeah. Jeffrey Allen says, Jeffrey Allen says, the body is in the soul, not the soul in the body. Is that what your source is saying? Don't fully understand that, Janelle. Do you want to talk about that a bit more, what he means by that?
I'm not really sure, but it kind of feels or sounds the same when I'm listening to you, because we've been kind of taught to believe that our soul is separate from us and it attaches to us rather than us being our soul, and the body is in the soul.
Okay, so I'll give you my viewpoint. Basically, the soul energy projects the energy of the soul contract out into this reality, and it creates your energy system, your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. The spiritual body is the soul itself, but it creates all those energy bodies, and the soul emanates energy out and creates the physical body. Without that divine intelligence, you wouldn't pop out with 100 trillion cells working perfectly. I mean, the parents here, you wonder how a kid comes out perfect. How does that happen? Well, it's because some divine intelligence is running it, otherwise you wouldn't get something perfectly formed.
So that's pretty consistent. Yeah,
so the soul creates the body around itself. Okay, so
I know from embryology that that's true, that our mother doesn't build us, we build ourselves. And
mother's the incubator holds us, so we can build ourselves, provides the space and the nutrients, everything we need, but we actually build ourselves.
Right.
Okay, by the pure life force actualizing into reality. Okay, so I mean, we've been affected by science pretty badly since 250 years ago. So I mean, I'm a chemical engineer by training. I used to work in the space industry, so so I can speak, I can say that because I've seen both sides of it. I've gone to the other extreme now. So we create our physical body, emotional, mental body, our entire reality comes from the soul. It's what's in the soul contract. And they are a vehicle. All those energy systems in the physical body are a vehicle to have a direct experience of this illusory matrix in a very specific way, so the soul can grow. And the soul is designed it this way so we have an optimal experience for its next step in growth. So often it's 80% of the stuff we're dealing with is unresolved past life issues. So the soul creates certain relationships, certain experiences for us to go through to try and resolve those. That's why you meet certain people and it's strong interactions, either negative or positive, because you probably had, I discovered I was having a conflict with someone 6,600 years ago yesterday, which explained the big blow up we had. And when my kinesiologist looked at it, what she said, everything she had detected in the energies that was all spot on. This explains why we were having a go at each other. Okay? So everything is divinely designed. And but the me talking to you now is Nicolas, David, and the personality expression of the soul. Hopefully more clearer than when I started this journey 40 years ago. But we have a unique personality expression that's a vehicle for this lifetime. It's unique in each lifetime. So we have a particular ego filter on life. So the soul experiences what goes on, and we have free will to decide what we do with that. And the soul doesn't know when it creates us exactly what we'll do. That's why it did it. It wants to see, what are we going to make of this? So don't feel that your lives are preordained, that there's complete fate, you're just going through the robotic motions. You can do whatever you want here, but the more you align with the energy where the soul wants to go, which ultimately is to go back home to source, the easier life is going to get, which is why we have divine healing. So if we follow the flow, what we call the spiritual signature, the flow, what opens your heart, which ultimately is to get back to source, back to oneness, then life will gradually get easier and easier. If you become a prisoner to what the ego wants to do, then life's going to get really hard, as you've all discovered. Especially when you're younger, ego does stuff and you realized that was a really bad idea, but you learned something. Okay, so this process is about peeling enough of that ego onion so you can feel the spiritual signature, feel the heart opening, feel the urge of what is the next right action. There's only one right action in every situation. And the more of those you can string together, the more grace and ease you're going to have in your life. The purpose of divine healing is to get you there. So to move from the feeling that life is hard and you die, which a lot of people truly believe in, because if you don't open your heart, don't light the spirit, that's what's going to happen, to life is more graceful, life is more flowing, more fulfilling, and you're discovering what your mission is. And those of you seeking your true gift of service, it's only going to start revealing more layers when you clear more of the ego, because you wouldn't be ready to hear it. That's why you haven't got all the knowledge yet. So it's not about waiting around for it to drop in some biblical slab on your lap one day. You've actually got to go and do your work, go out in the world, do the work that your heart you're drawn to, deal with the issues that come up, and gradually that gift of service will be revealed to you. But not until you've cleaned up enough of the ego. You've got to actually do the work. You can't sit there just thinking about it, trying to figure it out. It's a waste of time. Okay, complete waste of time, because you're never going to get the answer, because the ego is so tiny. This is the level of consciousness of the soul and the higher self. It will have no idea what's going on. But if you get clearer by emotionally clearing yourself with something like divine healing or whatever other tool you're drawn to, your consciousness will expand, and therefore higher consciousness can engage with you and embody through you, and that's when you're going to get the real answers. So life is a verb. It's something that's in motion. It's not something you try and figure out. But we've been so conditioned in the West to figure everything out and measure it. We spend a lot of time wasted thinking about it. And you could have spent your time actually clearing the issues. Then you were going to get to the real thing much faster, 5 times as fast. Okay? So you don't have to understand it all. Most people try and understand everything first. I would suggest to you it's about feeling everything first. You're going to go a lot quicker and you'll be a lot happier. It'll save you a lot of money and time as well, because you're going to get there much quicker. And there'll be a lot less mistakes. Or if you could, not any real mistakes, they're more just like learning here. Okay.
That's why I'm so annoyed with this mental health, especially here in the US. We just need more mental health. And I say, no, we need emotional health.
I'd agree totally, Janelle. You don't sort the emotional health out, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay. Because the mental health is about understanding how things work. It's not about and trying to go with drugs and all the other stuff that is involved. Okay, it has its place. But going from a feeling space, feeling what the next right thing to do is and dealing with whatever programs come up, that's going to get you wherever you want to go a lot quicker. And just know that you're not in charge. Okay, I don't want to hear that, but you're not in charge. Okay, none of you is in charge. You've got to let go and surrender to the flow of spirit and just trust the process. Okay, if you're waiting to figure it out before you take the leap, you're going to be waiting a very long time. Forever, probably. Maria.
It's exactly what happened with my moving home. I've tried for over a year and I decided that's it. I'm not trying anymore. I'm just going back to England, and everything just unfolded.
Yeah. Yes, Pat, the ego is really ticked off to hear it's not in charge. It wants to be in charge because the ego's ultimate fear is annihilation by God, because that lets go control, God's going to annihilate me, because it knows God's the boss deep down. But actually, all you're going to get is gradual ego dissolution because it's scared of its own death. But actually, letting go of the ego and dissolving it is the key to ascension, key to living that blessed life that you're all seeking, the key to not being in pain anymore. It's surrendering. Eventually, if you keep at it, like with divine healing, it will give up because you're going to wear the thing out. And it's something like divine healing is a mortal threat to the ego because it knows you have a tool which is going to dismantle it, and it's not happy about that. But if you take out enough of the programming, eventually it will give up, which is what you want. You want surrender. And then you, as you become more conscious, as you clear that ego onion, can then align more and more each day to the true purpose. If you're not quite clear what it is, just have the intention of heading towards what is the true purpose, what is my gift. I want to manifest that. And if you focus on that, the ego will try and stop you. It'll bring up a lot of issues, but if you clear those issues, eventually that thing will start to manifest for you. Now that's worth fighting for, isn't it? That's worth working for, because it's better than what you've been doing up to now. Waking up and struggling through the karma, which we all have. When we first
That's
arrived.
what landed me sitting in this office right here. I have no idea what I'm doing, but here I am.
Yeah, well, the universe got you there, Kathleen, so there's a reason. So it's about moving forward, engaging with whatever comes up. Life is about being present with what is in the moment in front of you. Because if you deal with that properly, then the next thing will come up. And after a while, you start to see a pattern. And you realize someone's organized here. There's something running here. Someone's got it very organized. And that's your soul and higher self. So they know exactly where you need to go. You're just the last one to find out. And, that's the way it works down here. So deal with what's in front of you. Don't worry about the future. Just deal with what's in front of you. And then the next thing will come. Then you realize, actually, I'm being looked after. There's a way forward. I've just got to be present with them in the present moment.
I wanted to share a little something just with regards to sort of, how you guys said the soul kind of creates our body, during the embryo phase. Sorry, I'll try and speak about this without getting too teary. But I was pregnant and I lost my daughter, carried to term. And, it made me wonder how, or this, hearing this made me wonder how I could go up to 40 weeks, give birth to my child, and 11 hours later, she passed away. And so for me, I think I struggled with it because as much grace as I was allowing myself, as much space as I was allowing those feelings to have, and like I say, honoring the journey, honoring the process, and just trusting that that was the divine timing and that was the way everything was meant to happen. But also it feels like, and excuse my language, what the fuck? You know, you just kind of, I think the ego wants, or my ego wanted to hold on to the fact that it was not meant to be this way. I was meant to have everything work out perfectly. And it just didn't go that way. And so I think it left me with a lot more questions than answers. And then at the same time, it left me with a lot more just accepting that we can't control everything as much as we want to, and as much as we think everything is a given. At times when we start on our journeys, it isn't always so. But yeah, just sorry if I put a little, you know, downer on everybody there, but I just wanted to share my perspective and my experience of the whole soul. Because I mean, I would see my daughter's soul in little blue orbs all over the place, all over the house. And still sometimes do. And it's just one of those things that sometimes I think to myself, maybe I was just meant to, you know, experience that and, you know, for what it is. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear you lost your baby, Noreen. It's tough. Yeah, it's pretty risky business having kids, having had one myself. You never quite know what's going to happen. These sort of things are designed and contracted between the souls involved. And the very strong lessons of life and death that come up there, Noreen, is something you contracted to have. And the soul of your daughter agreed to play that role for you. So the main thing is to know that there was no loss of life force. Because you're seeing her in the house. Okay, she's still there. Okay, she just changed form. Okay, so because we very much associated life with the physical body, but actually life is our soul. It's our consciousness. I discovered that when I was in a workshop and I left my body. I went astral traveling and I realized I wasn't my body. So the essence and the love that your daughter is, it never died, Noreen. She just came in for a brief while to be with you because you'd agreed to have this lesson, even though it's one of the toughest ones that you can have. So her consciousness is infinite, it's forever. So I don't know if that helps. And it's not God having a go. It was agreed between the two souls, I would say, for this to happen. I know it's really tough to hear. But that's actually how it works.
I think it is tough to hear. And especially because, you know, you move between, I don't think I ever went through a period of denial. I went through a period of accepting and then not accepting and then just fully accepting everything and giving myself that grace. But 2 weeks before I gave birth to my daughter, my aunt passed away. And then exactly 40 days after my daughter had passed away, my grandmother passed away. And apologies. It is just, I did feel as though, you know, the universe was kind of throwing all this shadow at me. And then I realized, you know, the most wonderful thing about life is death and the journey and the legacy and the lives you've touched, more than you just sort of, you know, dying and then that's it. I think for me, I went back, I think, and looked at, even though nobody got to meet my daughter, how she had touched so many lives just by a lot of people knowing that I was pregnant. And then also, you know, friends, family knowing that I was pregnant. And I mean, I did definitely feel that ripple of wave of her being, touching so many people and making people so conscious of
you know, nothing is certain and nothing is a given. And then I look at my grandmother, who was, you know, about 90 when she passed. And I mean, she had lived the most full life, traveled everywhere, spoke so many languages, and just was always open to having everybody in her home. And then I look at that journey as well and how many lives she had touched. So I think that for me gave it some really beautiful perspective, that, or maybe I gave it that perspective, I don't know.
The main thing is that you've appreciated and embodied the lesson of these passings. Seems you have a theme of understanding life and death, given the number that have happened in a short space of time. And that's one of the strongest ones you can have.
I think that's a little bit of a relief to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be in your soul contract, Noreen. It's in 11 if you got the book. It's life and death. It's probably why this is happening.
Oh.
It's probably a shattering of old structures of being to, and out of the chaos, building a new life each time it happens. I think you've probably got one of those running. It's one of the stronger patterns you can have. So, okay. Right, so we're going to have a direct experience of divine healing now. So I've opened the divine healing level 1 space. The first thing we're going to do is clear the energy interference that we all have around us. I'll just share the screen here and get back to here. So we'll stop talking about it and we're going to feel it, as I was saying earlier. And what happens is that when you're on this earth plane here, you have this layer of interference here. And the lower part of the astral plane, it's trying to stop you, these astral beings, lower astral beings, okay, stop you from rising up the dimensions. And these beings hang out with you and they hold all the heavy emotional programs that a lot of you have described in place because they're feeding off them. But we're going to clear a whole bunch of these because they're in the way of you connecting to your higher self for the next part of the healing we're going to do. So I want you to close your eyes, everybody, feet flat on the ground, bare feet if you can, shoes off. And we're going to clear the interference using Divine Healing Level 1, using what's called the interference chart. I'm going to do most of it quietly, okay? There'll be some more speaking out loud bits later. But the first thing we're going to clear, I call earthbound souls. So I want you to breathe through your mouths and just be conscious of what's happening in the present moment in your body and just outside your body and how you're feeling. Okay? Because earthbound souls are beings who've left a physical body and they are hanging out with you because you carry the same issues as the original host body did. All right? So we're going to create a tunnel of light to take these to the next steps. I want you to feel as these beings leave. So I'll do this part quietly now. Okay, feel the shift. I've commanded these beings to leave. For gratitude to the angels who have helped us here. Okay. Now, next layer of beings, we're going to release our extraterrestrial presences. Nothing to worry about here. These beings are in and around our energy fields, and they're just curious about how we work because on Earth we have a much vaster range of emotions than the average planet. And so it's a very dense, intense emotional soup here. So we're going to remove them quietly now. Okay, feel the energy shift from that. Now I'm going to release discarnates, entities, and attachments. There's a whole bunch of beings here who are hanging out on the astral plane and can affect us, especially if you have a lot of emotional trauma or intense emotions, negative emotions. They want to hang out and feed off that. Okay, feel the energy shift and feel gratitude for that. Okay. Now we're going to remove whatever low frequency programs are, main low frequency programs are running in your system. And we're going to use the Divine Healing Manual here. So what I want you guys to do is to focus on manifesting your gift of service. You may be aware of it. And if you are, just focus on that. Manifest in the world. Keep your eyes closed. Focus on manifest in the world as if it's already done. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. If you're not quite clear what it is, focus on becoming conscious of what your gift of service is. Or if you've got bits and pieces of it, just focus on those and focus on the picture filling out much more completely. Because what we're going to do here is trigger the low self-esteem, lack of self-worth, whatever is in the way of manifesting it by focusing on what you wish to manifest. Because often most of us, light workers, including me, we spend our time focusing on all the things which are in the way that are bugging us. And then we lose the plot of actually what we really want to manifest, which is our gift of service. Because we focus on the gift of service, we starve the ego of our energy and our intention. Because by the law of attraction, whatever you focus on, you get more of it. So often we get 2 or 3 times the amount of emotional separation because we're focusing on trying to find it all and dig it all out. So what we're going to focus on here is gift of service manifesting. Is manifest, or we're becoming conscious of what it is. The ego will say, oh, you can't do that. So it will bring up all the hidden programs into your consciousness, and therefore they're vulnerable. And we're going to clear them with this main low frequency program chart. So breathe into your heart, either feel it or see it, however your sensory system works. That gift of service as if it's already done, or getting clarity of what it is. As if it's already done, you know what it is. And breathing through your mouth, that keeps you in the body. And just feel whatever comes up and just be present with it. Then we're going to do this command code here from the level 1 manual to actually clean out that layer that you've gone and ambushed effectively. You've got to trigger the ego to push it out into consciousness where the program is vulnerable. So breathe into that gift of service now. And be present with whatever's running. It's all part of the one. And breathing through the mouth, breathe into it. Whatever programs are coming up. Become aware how this program or programs operate in your life without going into the story. Ego always wants to tell stories, wants to indulge, but just be with the feeling of what's coming up. And let yourself open to all aspects of this feeling. Bringing feeling consciousness to the program now. Become aware of all aspects, places you've probably never been before. Might have gone a little way, but now I want you to go as far as you feel comfortable with. Expand your consciousness into the entirety of that, whatever program's running. Become aware of any attachment the ego has to this program, because the ego loves staying attached to its programs. It's very indulgent. Any feelings of being bad for having the program, because the ego always feels bad about something. Become aware of all judgment around it. The more you can open to it, the program, the more it can integrate and heal. Breathing into it. And so the ego's feeling reluctant to go there, just gently keep going to where you want to go. Don't let it numb you out. As far as it's comfortable. Okay, I want you to open your eyes now. We're going to do this command code here. So we spent our time bringing consciousness to the programs, the first thing, as I've taught you. Now we're going to use command codes to remember you are a spark of the divine, a spark of God. You're going to command that program you can feel to be transmuted. So if everyone switch your microphones on if you're willing to, we're going to say this command code in bite-sized chunks. And if we hear each other, it's more powerful because then it's a very strong group process. Microphones on the bottom left, just unmute if you're up for it. Unless you've got huskies or babies or something really noisy in the background. Okay. All right, I'm going to say it in bite-sized chunks, so repeat after me. There are going to be pauses as well. I'll put a little P with the pause because we need to let each part of the program get cleared. So we say, Saint Germain's an ascended master who's going to help us with a purple flame. So we say, we ask Saint Germain to pour the purple flame
to pour the purple flame
through the aura and subtle bodies,
through the aura and subtle bodies,
to burn away all low frequency energies
To burn away all low frequency energies
that we have discovered,
that
we have discovered,
so that new high level vibrations
so
so
that
that
new
new
high
high
level
level vibrations
can be accessed.
can be
be
accessed.
accessed.
So we pause there because Saint Germain's going to go off and do all this. Got to give the energy time for that to happen, or it'll be busy for a while. Then the energy will sort of drop off a little bit. Now we say, Saint Germain and higher self,
Saint Germain and higher self,
please burn out in one go.
please burn out
in one go.
100% the core issue
100%
the core issue
through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and
dimensions.
dimensions.
Pause there. That's going to happen now. The energy sort of drops there because it's done. 100% the original cause
100%
the original cause
through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and dimensions.
Little pause there. 100% the source of its power
100%
the
the
source of its
power
power
through all levels and dimensions.
through
all
all
levels
levels
and
and
dimensions.
dimensions.
Little pause there. 100% all energy attached
100% all
energy attached
through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and dimensions.
Little pause there. 100% all of its effects.
100% all of
All of
it.
its effects.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Let me say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gratitude is very important because it opens a direct connection. It cuts right through the ego to source to bring flow. And just feel the shift there, okay? A little pause there. Right. I'm going to check and see how you guys are feeling before we do the next couple of charts. So who would like to share how that felt?
So
How was that?
for me, it's really intense because my Kundalini is still, that's why I put off my, I don't want to scare anybody because my body just does a lot of intense movements to release energy. And so I was like shaking and just like releasing a lot of energy, specifically my arms, which I feel like it's connected to the heart chakra. And I was crying, like really deeply crying. And it was just like these, the program that popped up is unworthiness, like just this deep unworthiness feeling. And then if after it finished, it just felt very, like just released a lot of stuff. So yeah, that was intense.
Okay, it worked. Good, thank you. Who else would like to share how that was? Put it in the chat, or if you're
Good share.
yeah, who's that? Is that Ricky, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Everyone, my name's Ricky. Yeah, it was just it was very calming for me, and I definitely feel like a nice relaxing like vibration going throughout my body and very calming. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Mackenzie, you got your hand up?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I also shed a few tears. I experienced tingling in the left side of my body, very similar to when I perform Reiki, how that sensation feels. In addition, I also felt some fluttering in my chest. And I couldn't help but smile at the end. And I had that big exhale of just relief. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, who else would like to share? Okay, Maria.
I don't know if it had anything to do with the healing, but I got a terrible cramp in my left thigh, something I never experienced before in my whole life.
Well, some programs try to hold on tight, I think, there, Maria. Yeah, the left leg is about staying stuck in the past.
Ah,
There's
well,
something literally is holding you back.
it was so strong. I had to get up and move around. But
Yeah,
going on, I never ever experienced anything like that before.
yeah. Oh, I think you got to something there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Badly needed.
Pat said, soles of my feet got smoking hot from the release. You had a lot of energy toxins coming out, Pat. Amy has said, definitely felt a shift in energy, but a heaviness lift off me. That'll be especially the interference energy. Okay. All right. Mackenzie, you got another question? You still got your hand up, or was that from before? No.
It's from before, it's fixed now.
Okay. Anyone else want to share their experience before we do the next piece?
I will. I don't think I'm on the screen.
Caitlin, do you want? You can come on if you want, Caitlin. I'll just
Okay.
say yes to the dialogue. Becoming a panelist, we can see you. Just give it a few seconds.
All right. There it goes.
There you go. We can see you now.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. I felt like it was a really beautiful experience, especially because there's a whole group of us, and I just felt a surge of powerful emotions. And then I felt a really deep peace and calm afterwards. Like it was just like all this deep emotions surfacing, and they had room to expand. And then finally I felt a deep sense of peace. So yeah, thank you for that. It was tremendously beautiful.
Yeah. You just dropped a big layer of the programming there. Thank you for sharing. Ricky says here, I didn't think to get that specific. Some energy traveled up my right side to my liver, which stayed intensified, then released. Okay. Thank you, Ricky. Anyone else want to share how that was?
I just wanted to share real quick because I just started using Akashic Tarot cards, and I started crying intensely when I saw that it was Saint Germain, because that tarot card kept coming up for me as an initiation of, like, I guess this. So it just felt really in alignment, because as soon as I saw the name, I was like, oh wow, this is the card I kept pulling up, which was Saint Germain.
Okay. He's probably been hanging out with you for a while prior to this. So, okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Well, we're going to move on to the next thing. So what we're going to do now is I want you to stay focused on the same gift of service, either fully manifested or becoming aware of what it finally is. And we're going to clear the past life energy feeds into you. Because 80% of what we go through is driven by past lives. That's my feeling. And we're going to trigger the past lives which are blocking you manifesting that gift of service. Okay. So often a lot of the feelings we can have can come from the past life files which have triggered in us. So close your eyes and breathe into that with the intention of pulling up those past lives. Okay. And you have a sense of them. As you do that, they'll sort of start to come to you. Oops. You may see past lives as trails of white or light colored energy going from your body back into the time space continuum behind you. You may get a sense of how many there are, because I want you to breathe into those lives and get a feeling for them. Some of you may see them or get a sense of what it is. The main thing is become as conscious as you can of it. Then we're going to do this command code here, which is actually designed for past life deaths. I'm going to adjust it slightly. It'll be more like traumatic lives here. And we're going to clear them. So they're not going to be driving your life experience anymore, the ones which you become conscious of. So just keep breathing into it. You might be up to 4 or 5 sometimes of similar themes which are stopping you manifesting that gift of service or becoming aware of what it is. So intention is everything with divine healing. So intend that the gift of service manifests. It'll take you about a lot less time to actually get there. So breathing through your mouth, we breathe deep into the belly because that keeps us in the body. If you breathe through your nose, you stay in the mind, which is not much use to us here, because it's all about a feeling process with divine healing. Okay, everyone switch your mics on. We're going to do this command code together. We're going to do it in bite-sized chunks. You can feel the support that happens when we do it together. There's a lot more power as a group, right? Because there's 15 of us here 16 of us doing this. It's much more powerful than if you did it by yourself, because there's a whole group consciousness running now. Okay, bite-sized chunks. Higher self, please clear, heal, and integrate.
Higher self,
Self,
clear,
clear, heal,
and
and
integrate.
integrate.
All these files and memories,
All these files and memories,
All these files and memories,
including all cellular memories,
Including
all cellular memories,
the DNA and the subatomic levels.
the
DNA, and the
subatomic
level.
I'm now ready to heal
I am now
ready to heal
all traumatic lifetimes
all
traumatic
traumatic
lifetimes
that have been blocking
that have been blocking
the manifestation
the manifestation
of my gift of service
of my gift of service
to humanity.
in
to
humanity.
humanity.
to humanity.
at all levels and dimensions,
at all levels and dimensions,
all time frames,
all
times,
realities,
realities,
and universes.
And
universes.
Let's pause there. Just let all that stuff clear now, because it's quite a big mouthful of things that we've commanded to happen. The higher self's a bit busy now. Keep breathing into your body. You might want to yawn. I want to yawn. Next one. I command that any soul fragments
I command that any soul
Any soul
fragment
fragments
held with these memories
held
memories
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 are now returned to me fully whole and intact.
Are now
are
returned
returned to me
fully
whole
whole
and intact,
and intact
As appropriate.
as
as
appropriate.
I welcome these soul fragments back.
I
welcome
welcome
these
these
soul
soul
fragments
fragments
back.
back.
Just pause there. I command that the whole holographic matrix
I
I
command that
command that the whole
holographic matrix
Holographic matrix
be repaired through all layers and levels,
be repaired through all layers
layers and
and
levels,
then brought into full alignment,
and
and then brought into full alignment,
integration and balance,
integration and balance,
to allow for wholeness to emerge.
to
to
allow
allow wholeness to
emerge.
emerge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really want to yawn there. And embrace the shift here. Okay. So that should lighten the load a bit. Keep breathing into that. So we've done some quite strong clearings there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to integrate this by using energetic nutrition. Okay, so this nutrition chart, the 14th chart out of 26 in the level 1 class, level 1 manual. And there's 4 types of nutrition we have in level 1. We have amino acids, essential fatty acids, minerals, and vitamins. So these are pure frequencies. So rather than taking the solid nutrition, we're getting the frequency of it. And you don't have to understand even how to pronounce them or what they are. The main thing is that this divine healing is made up of tables and lots of different lists of energies we use. And the higher self knows exactly which frequency, in this case, to pick for you. So I want you to close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you for a number between 1 and 4. And whatever comes in your head first is your higher self telling you which of the 4 categories of nutrition it wants you to work with. So it's the first number that comes to you, not the second one, because the ego might try and mess you, but it's the first one. So, okay, pick a number 1 to 4, okay, and write down whatever came first. We're teaching you how to number map. This is how we connect to the higher self. So it's communicating to us which bit of the onion to peel next. That's what we're doing here. So if you got a 1, it's A for amino acids. B is 2, which is going through the alphabet, essential fatty acids. And if it's a 3, it's minerals. A 4 is vitamins, because it's easier for the mind to pick numbers than letters. Okay. So for those who got 1, okay, I want you to pick a number, close your eyes and pick a number between 1 and 25, whatever number comes in your head, and write it down. Those of you who got 2 or B, pick a number between 1 and 19 and write it down. Those who got 3 or C, minerals, pick a number 1 to 21 and write it down. First number that comes in your head. Those of you got 4, this is vitamins, pick a number 1 to 26 and write it down. So what you've gone and done there is allowed the higher self to tell you what it wants you to work with. Okay. And we've put it in what we call a divine healing stack, energy container. So your intention is it could be B7, formic acid and essential fatty acid. That's in the stack. Okay, it's just there because you've intended it to be there. And then what we're going to do together, switch your microphones on, is we're going to do this command code together. We're going to command that nutrient to be encoded, and it's usually encoded down the central channel. You may feel it like a waveform going through your body and spreading through your body. And this is going to balance up all the clearing we've done with the interference chart, the main low frequency program chart, and the past life chart. Okay, so microphones on, we'll say this together. Okay. Higher self.
Higher self.
Please encode this nutrient
Please encode this nutrient
in the perfect balance
in the perfect balance
that is required
That is required.
and clear and align
And
all pathways for maximum assimilation, absorption and utilization.
Absorption and utilization.
Okay, just breathe it in. It's making me yawn this webinar a lot. I'm clearing a lot. It's sort of just going to stabilize you after, because when you do a lot of powerful charts like this, the ego can get a little destabilized. So we got to pull the programs out, peel the onion without the core of you going unstable, because you've got huskies or kids to look after or yourself to look after. Okay. So we do deep clearing programs like this, and then we integrate a bit. Okay. I feel a bit calmer now, a bit more grounded after that. You can open your eyes now. Okay. Want to see how people are doing? Would like to share how that was? Anyone?
So you literally picked my number, which was the second group, and number 7.
Yeah.
B7, which was formic acid.
Yeah.
So that was pretty insane, but awesome. And then I just felt sort of in my midsection, starting on the right side, sort of towards my hip bones, just like a little twinge of pain or discomfort, and then moving into like the right side and then dissipating.
Okay, thanks, Noreen. Sounds like you had a lot of release, cellular release there. Yeah.
For me was my left leg was thumping really like fast and like just hard, and I can just feel the cramps like just like releasing.
Yeah, this is stepping out of the past, Angelica. Everything we talked about yesterday. Okay, who else would like to share?
I'll share.
Okay.
I had
Mackenzie, yeah.
yes, 3 for minerals and then 18, but I didn't catch what the 18 was. I felt a slight headache and a little bit of nervous energy. That was really it though.
Okay, so the 18 was sodium.
Okay.
Yeah, so you need that frequency, so it shifted something coming out of you. Eliza, you're back.
A little sense then.
Yeah. Eliza, you're back.
Yeah, I had sodium as well. I feel happy and energized and calm at the same time. I feel my consciousness feels bigger, but contained.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is the whole idea, is to expand consciousness. Anyone else want to share on the chat or on and talk to me, Maria?
I had D22. I don't know, I couldn't see what it was, but I feel like sudden warmth coming up the floor, my feet, while before I was freezing.
Yeah. Vitamin D2. So it's releasing something. When you have heat, it's cellular release happening when you have heat. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. Anyone else want to share? Okay.
I was yawning a lot.
Yeah. Ever? Yeah.
Yeah, and there was some pain on my right leg. I'm not sure what was that, but mine was K, I think, vitamin K. Yeah.
Yeah, just something moving out. Right leg is about moving forward, so something stopping you moving forward. So yeah, there's some programs coming out. Amy has said she got D, number 14, vitamin B2, felt a bit sick, then it moved up and dissipated. Okay. All right. Anyone else?
I'm just wondering, what does the vanadium mean? That's 20, vanadium, something like that.
It's a mineral, so basically it's just a particular frequency. Is that what you got? And Angelica?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that.
You just needed that. The higher self just said, "Oh, we need that frequency so that it can move you forward." So you don't have to understand the detail of what it's doing. It's got to be present with the feeling, and it's got its own wisdom, a higher, much more expanded consciousness, which is helping you awaken. But it's a free will zone here, so you have to ask. If you don't ask, you don't receive. It's the way it works down here. Because you have the free will to do nothing about this, or free will to do an awful lot about it. It just depends. So, okay. All right. Heather, do you have another question, or was that the hand from before?
Oh, no, I do. I just wanted to know what 319 was.
We'll have a look.
Just out of curiosity.
Sulfur.
Interesting. Okay.
Frequency of sulfur. Okay. So it's a taste of divine healing, people. It's how it works. Basically, in divine healing, it's all these charts are channeled to Mary, Almira, and Roshan, and they put this manual together over a year. And they meet every month to assemble all the pages. So basically, there's 26 charts in each level. There's 5 levels, but this is the first level, which covers everything from angel frequencies, different types of behaviors, how your chakras work, how to sort out water issues in the body so you can feel your emotions because we're 80% water, diagnostics for emotions and states, fears and phobias, big chart called God consciousness, how you disconnect from God, because that drives a lot of the way the ego functions, hidden subconscious ego agendas which drive our behavior, especially. We've done the interferences, judgments and beliefs about things. The biggest chart, which is key psychological conflicts. So psychological reversals, where it should be like a positive characteristic in us as human, but often it's reversed from the effects of life. Life stresses, we did main life frequency programs there, did the nutrition chart. Original times finding out when something happened, because if you target something very specifically, you can take it out much more deeply. We have the past life chart here, but it's not deaths, but just traumatic lifetimes. We tune up your subtle bodies because they carry a lot of your programming. Release more blocks to positive living. Clear sabotages, where you keep sabotaging yourself. It's good for that. It's a big chart. Traumas. Universal archetypes to understand who we are. Vaccines and toxins to clear the frequencies out of our body. Another diagnostic to find out where the issue is in the body. Healing symbols, balancing polarities, and short command codes, zap codes. So basically we spend 4 days online, about 4 1.5 hour sessions over 4 days on Zoom, where I explain what each chart, the theory of each chart. Then if it's a simple chart, I just will do the command codes on everybody. If it's a more complex one, you go off, once I explain it, and I'll do a demo on someone in the class, you see it in action, then you go off into a breakout room with a partner. You get to work with everyone in the class eventually, and you'll get the right person you need for that moment. And you give and receive the chart in digital privacy. Then you come back, we talk about it, and then I tune into what we call the synergistic entity, the field of consciousness of the class. Then I'll pick the next chart. So eventually you'll get through all the charts, you learn how to do it, and you get a massive healing in the process. So that's sort of how the training works, really. It's very powerful. People are often quite radically transformed by this, but you should feel a lot better afterwards, okay? And then you have a tool you can use on yourself permanently and on others, because it's very empowering to clear your own programs rather than having to wait to come and see someone for that. So to answer your question, Angelica, the next training runs on the 24th to 27th of June. They run sort of spring, summer, and autumn. This is a summer training. Runs on Zoom, runs from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 Eastern time, 12:30 to 8:30 p.m. UK time for Europe. In Europe itself, it's 1:30 to 9:30. If you're on Pacific time, it's 4:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So we try and stretch it to go from California out to Poland. That's usually the range we run. And I can teach about 8:30. And most people are more than happy to get up early at 4:30 simply because then they don't have to fly here, which is what people used to do. So when they found out we were doing it online, everyone said, well, it's going to save me $1,000 or more to not fly and not have accommodation in England. I don't mind getting up early for that reason. And you don't have to do all the rigors of traveling as well. And it's also, especially at the moment, not really feasible to travel as freely as we used to. So if you want to find out more, go to thedivinehealingtraining.com. The cost of the course is £520, about $650 US. So that's about the same as 6 hours of private sessions with most practitioners. So it's a deal, really, because you're going to use it a lot more than 6 hours yourself. And you can clear about 80% of your issues yourself. The other 20% are core ego programs, which require a practitioner to hold space, because some of the programs are core ego constructs, and you can't stand on your own shoulders, for example. You need someone to hold space so you can go very deep into it to clear it out. But I think 80% is a pretty good rate. Okay, nice to see you, Janelle. I know you have to leave early. So if you want to secure your place, the deposit's £175 or about 220 US, which you can pay here at thedivinehealingtraining.com. If you want to try private sessions, I can find you a practitioner. Just go to freeupyourlife@divinehealing.com. But I think you've actually had a good feel for it now, really. It's whatever you need. We can match you up with the right people. It transformed my life, which is why I wanted to learn how to do it. And I went from being very emotionally traumatized and frozen to actually teaching this very hypersensitive healing, emotional healing workshop, which is my journey. So it's quite paradoxical, really. So any questions, anyone, about that? What we've covered, or the workshop structure?
Hi, it's Mackenzie. I do have a quick question about the 4-day web conference.
Yeah.
If I'm not able to make the 24th through the 27th, how often is this conference offered?
Let me take a look. I'll tell you when the next. I have to see when the next one is. If you can't make that one, just go get my calendar up. Next one will be in autumn.
Awesome. And will that be on your website as well? Could I sign up for that one now?
You can just pay for that now with a deposit and just email us and tell us it's for the autumn one. But I'll find the dates for you, Mackenzie. Hang on.
Thank you.
Let me just find it. It's about here. Just find it. My Google Calendar is loading up here. Just got to find it for you. So the autumn one is the 30th of September to the 3rd of October at the same times. And that's the last one of the year. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions about the course structure or in general from anyone? Kathleen, you can ask me a question. You just turned up again.
Oh, sorry, I was just poking around.
Okay. All right. If there's no more questions, we'll close now. So thank you, everybody, for a total engagement. Hope you enjoyed that. Video probably, Charlotte, my training coordinator, will probably get the video out to you early next week because we're on a very long Queen's Jubilee holiday at the moment. If you listen to it again, it'll be just as strong as we did it live. Okay. So don't be driving the car or anything because it's very strong, this, and you'll clear as deeply as you did now. Okay. All right. So thanks for coming. Maybe you'll see some of you on the workshop if you're ready to take the leap into a more fulfilling life. But yeah, this was fun.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.